morning and welcome to today's Masterclass on telling tools for storytelling. It gives me great pleasure to introduce to you Jeeva Raghunath. Jeeva is a remarkable individual who has pioneered storytelling movement in Tamil Nadu. She represents her country at various global festivals. She's been awarded the Best Entrepreneur Award for her contribution to storytelling and the Pride of Asia by Surendra Rajabhat University of Thailand. Today, Jeeva brings her workshop on storytelling and where she explores different storytelling ideas, tools and communication techniques. Today, through Buckaroo, we attempt to bring this masterclass to an audience such as you. Buckaroo, as some of you know, are the India's first and largest children's literature festival. It's in its 11th year now.
When you're passionate about something, it comes to you. It comes looking for you. And I grew up listening to stories. Because my grandmother, my mother, my grandfather, my uncles, my aunts, my sister, my brother all told stories. Okay? My grandmother had not one, two, she had 14 children. She would make all her grandchildren sit in one large circle. And she would take a gunda, that is the cauldron. Okay, that pitala gunda, the brass cauldron. She put the rice, she put the sambar, she put the curry, and she go kara 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 kara. She make it in little balls, and then she ask us to put out our hands. We put out our palms, and she say, "Oh, Raja irundara." She start the story, and we go, and she be telling stories, and we be laughing, and she was such a funny lady, and it was so hilarious. Until the cook had to say, "Amma, no more rice. Stop the storytelling." So I think, along with food, I think I ate stories. So like skeletal system, circulatory system, I think I have a story system. So automatically, even as 5 years, started telling stories. For the fun of it. Always had a crowd around me telling stories. And it so happened, I was a preschool teacher. We had a nursery school in the college, and then I was controlling the kids by telling stories. So my principal saw that. And I failed in my final year exam in physics. So I had nothing better to do. So I get a letter from my principal saying that, "Would you like to take up a job in the nursery? We'll give you time to do your September exam. You can pass in physics and you can still be." I started with 250 rupees. And then what happened was, it was then that I went to meet Radhika Menon of Tulika, who happens to be my schoolmate, my classmate. We grew up together. So I said, "Hey, come on, yeah. You've always been creative. Let me do something for you." So I get a letter. She sends a mail to my school, and then the peon comes and gives it to my principal saying that, "Would you like to join Tulika as marketing executive?" I said, "What do I know about marketing?" She said, "No, you have the gift of the gab. Come on, you can do it." I said, "Okay, we'll tell you what to do." So I was a marketing manager. Ooh. I went to schools, not that I sold books, but I developed relationships. Kathy Spagnoli's book, Priya's Day, was published in 1997. So Kathy couldn't come, and it was a bilingual book, English and Tamil. Radhika said, "You do it in Tamil." To make it sound very interesting, I added songs. So on the launch, after I did it, people came to me and said, "Oh, you're a wonderful storyteller. Oh, you're so good." I said, "Huh?" Because at that point, let me be very, very frank with you, I did not know that something like this existed. Storytelling existed. Because it was a part of life for me. It was every day. What's so new about it? It's there anyway. I've been telling it to my nieces and nephews, and what's so great about it? And then Radhika came and said, "Can you just please smile and say thank you? Don't look so ignorant." I said, "Okay." And that's how it all started. That's how my journey started. Why am I saying all these things? It's because if I can do it, you can do it. I've never been formally trained by anybody. I've not been trained by anybody. It's all acquired skills. I've just been observing, but I'm a good observer. So it's only through observation I've learned all these things. The finesse of storytelling, probably. In a small village, a very small village in Bengal, the children never went to school, for they took their cattle out into the jungle nearby to graze. Now in that jungle was a huge banyan tree. It was the biggest and the oldest tree. Everybody loved playing beside. But under this banyan tree lived a cobra, a black cobra. He was so handsome. He wore the best diamond necklace around his neck. Wow. But he hated everybody. He was so short-tempered. He never let anybody near this tree. It was summertime and the children were busy playing, and right beside the very banyan tree was a mango tree which had the brightest yellow mangoes, bunches of them entwined in the roots of the banyan tree. A cow that saw it, she was so tempted. Moo, moo. She went closer and she tried to pick on a fruit and accidentally touched the tip of the cobra's tail. He struck her and she fell down, dead. The children were afraid. They ran as fast as they could. They went all the way to the family. They went to the mother and said, Maji, Maji, Maji. What? Huh? What now?
Lakshmi, the cow is dead.
What?
The cobra bit her.
You children, I told you not to go there. The mother screamed and screamed and screamed. The father came and said, what's going on? What's all this noise about? And the wife said, these children, forever, they're going and playing in the forest, and that stupid cobra has bitten our cow, and the cow is dead. Ay-ay-yo, ay-ay-yo. She went on. And the father said, all right, from tomorrow you shall go out into the open grounds to graze the cattle. No more into the jungle. Got it?
Yes, Baba,
said the children. The next day, they took the cattle to the open fields. You know, children, they were so bored.
It's so boring. I don't know why we have parents. They always say no, no, no for everything. They never understand us, you know.
Just as they were chit-chatting, from nowhere came, Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami. There came a Buddhist monk, and he said, children, is there a place where I could meditate? The children looked at each other, and there was one smart girl, and she said,
Yes, Baba, there's a banyan tree. But then be careful, there's a cobra there, he might bite you.
But then, the Buddhist monk, being a Buddhist monk, said, don't worry, my children, I can take care. And he went and said,
What's gonna happen?
He went right there and he sat under the very same banyan tree and started chanting, Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami. When he opened his eyes, right in front of him was this cobra swaying from side to side. And he said, brother, my good friend, is there anything I can do for you? Is it okay if I stay under this banyan tree that belongs to you? And the snake was surprised. Nobody had ever spoken to him so kindly. Nobody had ever asked permission. He said, yes, you can stay under this tree. And they soon fell into conversation. And the Buddhist monk asked, my dear friend, I find lines of trouble on your forehead. Is there anything troubling you? Can I help you in any way? Yes! I am very short-tempered. I'm not able to control my temper. The Buddhist monk said, that's easy. All that you need to do is chant Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, and you will find peace. The cobra thanked. And they fell asleep, and in the morning, the Buddhist monk went out the same way he came in, and the children were surprised. They came running and said,
Baba, you're alive. Can he touch you? Can he? Oh yeah, he got feet. He got feet. He's not both. Okay, can I touch you? Oh yeah, he's real. Oh yeah, the snake didn't bite you.
And of course, the Buddhist monk said, yes, he means no harm. You can go there and play. He'll be fine. That's it. Children were so happy. They went all the way inside and they started playing. But there was one naughty boy, as always in a story.
And he said, "Hey, you are the snake that bit, right? I know that you won't do anything to me now."
Picked up the snake and he went woo, 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 twirling it around and put! Threw him down on the ground. And the poor snake went. Just then the Buddhist monk came back. Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. And the little girls look.
What did he say now? Hello, hi. Yep, good, yep, happy, very nice. Happy.
The Buddhist monk said, "Children, looks like you're all in trouble. What happened?"
This boy, this naughty boy, he killed that snake. I think the snake is dead, he's gone. So sorry.
Then the Buddhist monk said, "No, we'll look for him." And he went looking. Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami. Tane na ne na na na. Ta na na ne na na na. Na 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 na. He lifted the snake's body, which was almost lifeless. And he said, "Brother, my dear friend, I asked you to chant in order to get eternal peace. But you need to protect yourself." But the snake said, "It's okay. I am just fine." No. When somebody tries to harm you, you need to protect yourself. I don't mean that you need to bite, but my friend, you have something more powerful. Hiss before you bite. Well, my friends, that's how snakes started hissing before they bite you. Thank you. 23 years now. I think I have visited almost 26 countries telling stories. Yes. Once again, this is not to say that I am proud of having done it. I'm only saying you can do it too. The reason why I'm saying is you can also do it because, again, I have never been trained under anybody. Storytelling, like I told you before, inspired. But there is something called personal strength that only you would know. So you will have to use your personal strength to do stories that would suit you. Now you tell me, what do you think are the tools of storytelling? Do you all think voice modulation is important? Yes. That's the word they all use, everybody use. I refrain from using it because voice modulation, if you very simply define it, because I don't know the definition, if you simply define it, it is the up and the down of a voice. That's all. Rise and fall. So I can say, once upon a time, there lived a king. Modulation, right? I would rather use the term effective use of voice. That is important. Effective use of voice is nothing but how effectively you voice at different situations. Alright, you have a dark room. So how will you say it's a dark room? Yeah, it's a dark room. Okay? Why can't you say it's a dark room? Why can't you say like that? So when you say dark room, it becomes bright. So light has an effect on your voice. So in your story, you must be conscious where you're telling. Which part of the story needs loudness, where it needs softness. So that is what I'm saying is, the effective use. For instance, when you want to say it's a cave, it's a dark cave. He walked in very slowly, step by step. Yes, cold water was dripping from the roof of the cave. He continued walking slowly. Then the contrast is better. What governs the voice? What governs the voice? Content? Maybe. Imagination? Maybe. There's a primary use that makes your voice change. Emotions. Right? Emotions are the most important thing in storytelling. Emotions govern our voice. Now, when emotions use voice, the voice changes our expression in the face. You can't say, I'm very angry, and your face can't change. It will change. So you have some people tell, once upon a time there was a king. What king? King only like this, sir? King can't be like this? These are like badly associated. There's no need. There's an angry line. Bring anger in your voice. Not angry. Angry is not angry. The voice has to be anger. The emotion has to be there. We think we tell aloud, it means emotion. Stories have souls. They have life. Why do you think stories have lived for so long? Because they have lives. They're not dead. There is life in every story. It's got a soul. So you got to do it with a soul. You don't need gimmicks to do it, is what I'm saying. Feel the story. Eat the story. Digest the story. Make it yours. Bring it out. The first lesson, never memorize a story. Every day we emote. We don't go and say, the food is ready. Please come and eat. We don't do it. Either it is, come along, food is ready, or can you please come and have your food? We are emotional animals. I'm only saying, take that and put it in the story. Why do you say, he felt very sad? What do you mean sad? Feel sad. He was so upset. That's enough. The thing is, we are all so stereotyped. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm arriving at the fact that we are so stereotyped. We have to go like that. If your man says, stand like this, I cannot move. I stand only usually. Want to move. You want to tell. Why are you always comparing somebody? They always say, that movie is like English movie. Go for watch English movie. Why are you watching a Hindi movie? It's just like English movie. Watch an English movie. There's an original. So like that, be yourself. Understand your voice. Listen to your voice. What does it say? What does it tell you? How can you do your best? What is most of our problems? Let me be very frank. Where does the problem lie when you're telling a story? For all of us, you're using everything. You're using all the tools perfectly well. Where do we go wrong? It's a very simple thing. To get attention. Everybody's attention. Major problem. You start the story slowly. What did he bring for snacks? I got kurkure. What he got? I got chips. Okay, we'll share. You lose audience. That is the major problem. So do we at any point sit back and think, where am I going wrong? I did it so well. What happened? Why? And when you tell a story, do you think everybody's going to listen to you? Because each one has a different way of listening. We are worried about the one soul who's not listening, and we are not doing justice to all the others who are listening. How is it fair? Forget them. Probably they are listening in a different way. Let me tell you, I tell this to even teachers. Impress your child. Don't impress the parents, because the child will vouch for you. Just because they are paying, are you slaves? No. Remember, they are not capable of telling stories. Okay? They're taking your service. They are at the begging end. Don't think they are paying in your slaves. Please, you are giving your art form to them. You are having a skill. You are having a skill which they don't possess. Remember that. You are always up. They are at the receiving end. But you have to be authoritative. We are scared. We might lose job. We might lose, clients. No, it's not true. I'm not asking you to be arrogant. Smiley, smiley, smiley. Needle into you. Smiley, smiley, smiley. Poke, 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 poke. That's all. Talk something they won't understand. They'll be mighty impressed. But they need an answer. You do your homework. I'm not saying tell lies. But in a nice way. I always tell, don't forget. If you are good, no matter what it is, they'll come back to you. Trust yourself. Trust your story you tell. Why are you trusting the parent? Is she the only parent? No. Even if she goes and tell 10 people, another person will go tell 10 people that you're good, right? So why are you worried? The reason for all of us, particularly in Asia, is that they fear to lose clients. You won't, I'm telling you. You won't, because when you're authoritative, they'll say, wow, she's very clear, she's very focused. They'll give names like that. She's so dedicated, all kinds of things. Yeah, but then have a smile. Never raise your voice. Convince them. It's just a game of the brain. You play with their brains and you touch them with your stories in the heart. Stories are not head to head, it's heart to heart. It's soul to soul. You want to impress people. Why are you telling a story to impress somebody? Impress yourself. Nothing wrong in using props. You can even use a little dupatta as a prop. You can use a thread as a prop. You can use a paper as a prop. You can use a pen as a prop. You can use anything as a prop, provided you're skillful. When you know your limitations, why even trying? Because you're trying to match somebody. You want to show you're multifaceted. Where? Do one thing properly. And one more thing, most storytellers' problem is, in one story, they want to have everything. A potpourri of everything. Why are we doing it? You don't need. You don't need anything. Generally, what is the duration of the stories that you tell? It's been proved that for anybody, even a genius, 7 minutes max. Your brain will switch off and then come back. It comes back faster than children. That is what attention span is all about. It goes and comes back faster for adults, whereas for the child, it takes longer to come back. That's why they get distracted. Normally, what I do is, sometimes I've given solo, 45 minutes solo I do. What I do is, I just don't do one story. I have a song, I have a rhythm, I have a game. All of it will be there. And for very young children, you must divide that 15 minutes into 3 minutes of something or the other. Even if you feel that they're dropping out, you say, okay, commercial break. And just do some little jiggly. Nothing wrong. They'll come back to you. If you see my storyline, it'll be on 10 lines. That's all. But what I do over and above is more. The audience are not away. They're with me. That's important. They have to be with you. It's very, very important. That connection should be there. The bonding should be there. Time is very important. Because it's like drinking the last drop of ice water on a hot day. Right? You'll do this to the tumbler. You want more, but there's no more. Storytelling is like that. People should say, I want more. Not say, hey, when is she going to finish? No. Just stop at that point. Finish the story. They say, oh, it's over. I want some more. That's your success. Then you say, yes. It's important. And you know why stories get longer? You're trying to impress. You'll find that, oh, they're not getting impressed. Let me do something. And then you start dancing. And people go, why is she so normal, all these? Because it won't be you and you'll try to attract, you'll be dancing. Because you're panicky, you get panicky, it's not working. If, in spite of you telling a very good story, if it doesn't work, don't get upset. Don't say that you didn't do well. There are so many factors. See, maybe they might have come after watching Avengers or something like that. And you go tell one story. That's what in their head. The mindset, it's raining outside. You want to tell a story about Veer. Who wants to know about Veera? Who wants to know about something of valor when it's raining out there? Talk about making hot samosas and talking about all those things. It's okay. Talk about these things. So shall we make a story about pakoras? Think of something like that. They would love. They'll all coop up and sit next to you. Okay, let's make some pakoras. Come on, chop. Fry. Do all those things. They'll enjoy themselves. Okay, now that we have our pakoras, let's go to the story. They'll listen to you. These are little things you need to do because we are not worried about ourselves. We are worried about the reach. They are your thing. Not the mother, not the money, but they. You got to respect their time. You got to respect their feelings. You got to do your best for them. If you feel a character, can the children understand? They have to also physically see. So you have to, in your mind, think if it's a king, what kind of a king was he? Was he a kind king? Was he a rude king? Was he a greedy king? Was he a fat king? Was he a thin king? Did he have a streaky voice? Did he have a loud voice? Did he have a bass voice? What was it? So all these things will have to go to it. And how did he walk? How does he walk? How does he sit? Does he have any mannerism? So all these things give visuals. Before you saw me, you didn't know how I looked. Fat, thin, tall, quiet. You didn't have anything. Now that you have seen me, can you change my face? So imagination has stopped already for you. If it's Jeeva, she's like this. It stopped already. That's what happens when you show a picture. That's what happens when you use props. Nothing wrong. But your imagination is not happening, right? So where is the question of the tool imagination coming there? We don't. Visualization is all about them creating. And what is visuals? How does visual help children? Visuals have shape and color. Shape and color is essential for memory. That's important. We remember our nursery rhymes, we remember our stories we learnt in children. But if I ask you your first lesson in your degree, would you remember? No, because they are scanned pages. Now, when you tell a story, they start imagining. Kathy puts it very beautifully. She says, when you tell a story, the storyteller is never seen. There is a screen in front and all characters come into play. It's like watching a movie. And a good storyteller is never remembered by her name. She's remembered by the story she tells. Observation gives you clear visuals. It gets the child to complete the visuals. As much as we say clarity is important in telling, clarity in giving visuals is also important, and that can happen only through observation. If you want to be an actor, observe. Look around you. Not only at people, animals, birds, trees. Why do you need this? That's when it gives visuals. That is when your vocabulary develops. That is when your vocabulary gets fixed, because the word and the picture should match. That's where vocabulary, it's just not because you're telling story the vocabulary gets embedded or communication happens. It's all because this thing is perfect. That's why we start with picture books for children, right? Because pictures speak more words than the words themselves. That's why visuals are important. In order to have your visuals in place and to have a good visual, your observation is a very helpful tool.
I just want to know, how do you flip between characters in just seconds? How, like from a
God's gift. No. The thing is, I just love it. It's just a passion.
Like from
I guess.
Sharanam, Buddha to how do you practice?
No, because you turn into characters, right? You're into it. You're into it. Now, how can I say that? I have to show the difference, right? Yeah, but again, there's no need. There's no need to do all these things. It's my style. I'm comfortable doing it, but there's no need. You can still say, the Buddhist monk came, but then you can change the tone of the voice. As a child, can you help me? And the Buddhist can say, yes, my dear. Same voice. And the father, why are you doing it? Louder. And the mother, why do you want to do this? The same voice. It's only the tone that is different. So you can still play with it. Sometimes I'm a little rude when people say, why are you charging so much? You can charge less. I just tell them this. You pay peanuts, you'll get monkeys. I tell them that. You pay peanuts, you'll get monkeys. I'm not saying monkeys are bad. They will be even better than me. But that's what you will get. Whether it's 1,000, 4,000, I do the same thing. There will be no compromise. I won't say that there's only one child. No, I can't.
I have had times when I have had free sessions and no one has shown up. I have charged them a bomb and I have had a full house. Yeah. Okay, sometimes I feel that you should charge more than what you think you should, because you will get audience, because suddenly they attach value to your story.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, to that money. Maybe not to the story, but maybe to the money. And they say, they're charging so much, it must be good.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Suppose you have a series, of storytelling for 2-3 days. It's in continuation. And is it okay to split this? It's the long story. Is it okay to split it into parts?
Of course, yes. When they can watch serial, they can watch this.
And how will you start it? How will you take it?
You do a very short. No. You just do a short lineup. Just like how they do synopsis.
That's what they've been doing in a country.
Slide synopsis, you do and you go ahead. They'll be very happy. They'll remember. In fact, you miss out, they'll tell you. You forgot. You stopped at that point. You are telling it from. You've already finished. You've already told this part to us.
How important is reading, collecting stories?
Good question. Okay, I'm an auditory learner. I learn better when somebody tells me a story. But after becoming a storyteller, do I have a choice? No. So I always have a bunch of books beside me. Right? So I pick it up, I read it. I have to read. It's not that you have to use, but read. Yeah, read. But the thing is, for me, like I told you, I may not even use the whole story. I might just take a part of the story where I can make it into a story. And that's what I do. I like to play. So I love to read these 10-liner stories, because one thing is, like I told you, I don't like to read. So these 10-liners are easy to read. Here's observable. But all 10-liners I like to read because there's scope for us to develop.
I always struggle to end my story.
So when it's there, you don't have to do everything that is written in the book. Do what is needed, no? Any story. The more you tell, the better you are. It's just with any skill. When we all started, I don't cook, but when you start cooking, the number of times you have burnt the food, number of times you have burnt your finger, all that happens. But as days go by, you don't think, no, 2 spoons of this, 3 spoons of that. It's automatic. Story is also like that. Any skill, the more you do, the better. But don't stop. Don't think, oh, I'm bad. No. Nobody is a bad teller. Like I told you, the challenge is getting them to listen to you. That's the only challenge we have. So if we can do that, that means master. I want to talk about Federation of Asian Storytellers. We have started this. Please become members. This Federation of Asian Storytellers. Feast. Please make use of Feast. Feast is all about copyright. Feast is all about developing new tellers. It's a platform that's so wonderful. Please make use of it. We struggled very hard. We spoke about it for 3 years and finally we launched it last year. See, when you have huge numbers, the best stories are interactive stories. You will have to make them interactive. Otherwise, it is very difficult. But what I would do is, the stories will be interactive, but I'll have a song in between. I will have a game in between. I will have a rhythm between. I'll just say, I'll get everybody to say, that's also enough. Again and again I'm telling, give them what they need, not what you want. Big mistake. Give them what they need. Don't thrust it down their throat. It's horrible. They'll only vomit. Nothing will go inside. Nothing will go inside. So, just, you got to let yourself loose. Don't have anything. Don't have any blocks. So what if you can't sing? So what if you can't dance? It's okay. Your way of telling stories is how you tell the story. So, repertoire of stories is a must. You must have a repertoire of stories. You must be able to pull one from the sleeve and do it on the spot. Suddenly, there are lots of people who ask me, can you tell a story now? There's some people sitting there. You must be ready. Because no, I can't. No. That people will ask me, how come? When we just say tell a story, you're able to tell. That's what, I'm a storyteller. If they say that you have to tell a story, I have to tell a story. How can I deny? No, I can't tell. So it's okay. Like I told you, I read so much. I may not be using it, but it'll be there in my bank. So if need be, I will pull it out and make it mine. But I work on stories a lot. I work so much until I internalize, until I personalize, until it becomes mine. I work very, 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 very hard. Don't take it for granted. Don't take it for granted. You have to work. You have to do justice to the story. It's not fair. You have to work hard. But what is good about the brain is that once you have worked very hard, it has already been trained, it can do wonders. You don't have to sit and do a lot. Because the power of right brain is such that you tap it, and if you can activate it, you have to tell the right brain, please can you stop? Because it comes up with ideas after ideas. It's so much, so overwhelming. You'll say, please shut up, it's too much. And another good thing about the right brain, mastering the right brain, is that it can pick up answers from anywhere in the universe. Apparently, the right brain is so activated, you can. And another thing about mastering the right brain is that you can get the attention of people. You get this something called mass mesmerism. Everybody look at you. If you speak nonsense, they'll believe you. That's what spiritual heads do. That's what politicians do. That's what we need to do. And storytelling is all about that. You have to play. But not with the mind, but with the heart. With the soul. It's a soulful thing. Do it with the soul. Don't worry about words. It will come to you. It doesn't matter. And all of you remember, we are not native English speakers. So it doesn't matter if you make mistakes. It doesn't matter if your English is wrong. It's just that when you're doing, when you're saying it's English storytelling is where the problem is. When you specifically say English medium school, then obviously they want the child to be more fluent in English. That's when we draw these little boundaries. So it doesn't matter. You look at Thailand, you look at Indonesia, you look at all over Europe. Everybody is speaking their own language. Nobody spoke English. Don't let these things be your blocks. Remove all these blocks. Be yourself. Enjoy the story. Be passionate about it. Give it, it's got life. Don't kill the story. Give it life. Enjoy. All that you need to do is just enjoy. Freak out. The right word is freak out to the story. Don't forget consequences. What will you learn? Cause and effect. I tell parents, what will you learn? Nothing. So they'll be like, yeah, nothing. They'll say, ma'am, you're kidding, ma'am. I'm sure he's learning. Yeah, you're convinced, right? Go. Get it out of them.